Hello, everyone, and welcome to QuestLore, a family Lorcana podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Malcolm. I'm Emmett. And I'm Jen.
and each week we take a look at Lorcana from a family perspective. Our whole family loves playing Lorcana just like we hope you do. And today we want to start out talking about how we do every week with how we played this week. We had our leagues back on Sunday. Jen, how'd they go?
So for me, they went okay. I ended up going 1 and 2, which was fine though because it was fun. I always have fun playing even when I don't win. Emmett, how did you do? I did great.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
just
that's
us
right.
this
It was just
week.
us. I forgot. That's right.
We let the kids go on vacation with
Yeah,
grandma
it was.
for overnight, so
Yeah.
it was just us.
Yeah. So it's just us. So I did okay. Matt, on the other hand,
Yeah, so we're reaching the end of our season at leagues. And basically, it's been a whole season for Rise of the Floodborn. And when I walked in, the shop owner smiled at me and said, "Hey, guess what? We added up all the totals, and I was 2 points behind the guy
that was in second place.
that was in second place, and like 3 points behind the guy that was in first place.
So like really close.
So it was all really close. We were the three highest ones, so I'm in third place. I'm like, okay, so I guess I gotta try to win. We've got one more week this week to go through the league, but last week, was a big week for it. And wouldn't you know it, I got drawn into playing against both the people that were ahead of me. So fate was in my own hands. I didn't have to worry about other people, and I actually went 3-0 this week. I beat both of the guys ahead of me, and so now those two are actually tied for first, and I'm 1 point behind them. So we've got one more day to play on Sunday with Into the Inklands in full effect. So all new decks, all new strategies. I'm freaking out a little, to be honest, about what deck I should play, what cards I should
Yeah,
put in
like
there.
I know we were
It's
talking about it last night. Trying to figure out like, man, does he play with the deck he's comfortable with, that he knows how it works, um, or does he try something new? Because we're all so excited to try these new cards, um, and but everybody else is going to be too. And so our only hope is that we research these cards well enough, more than our opponents, so that hopefully Matt can bring home that trophy. Because he really wants
Wait,
that.
is it trophy? It's
And it's not
pins.
it's pins.
We need the pins.
Yes, and we like the pins like very very much. We actually put them on our gaming backpack. But so speaking of last night,
Yep.
um, so this is so as of right now, we are filming this on Friday, February 23rd. So at midnight last night is when the the new cards came out. And so we actually, after we put the kids to bed, because they did have school this morning, um, Matt and I actually went to a midnight release draft party. So where we got to draft, we didn't get home till 2 a.m. It was quite a late night, and both of us had to wake up early for school. Well, for work this morning, I'm a teacher, so it was school for me. But we pushed through, and it was a lot of fun.
Yes. A lot of fun. Lots of new cards.
Lots of new cards, and I know one of the things that I wanted to try the locations. I was really excited about it. I actually ended up pulling three. Um, or no, and so one of them was a one lore, and then one was or two of them were two lores, and yeah, I really liked it. Like I really liked playing those locations, especially I can't remember which one it is, but it's one that it costs 4 to play. It had a defense of 7, and it got 2 more at the beginning of every turn. But then also for every card I had on that location, I got to draw a card at the beginning of my turn. And I actually
Queen's Castle.
yeah,
Queen's Castle.
Queen's Castle. Yes.
Yeah, that is like probably the best one out of that set. If I
Yeah.
would have seen that one, I might have grabbed it. I did not play any location. I had locations in my deck. They all became ink. I don't think I ever played one. I destroyed plenty of them.
Yeah.
There's one steel card that can destroy location on site. I got to use that a couple of times to make someone not happy.
Hey, at least there wasn't any Maui's there.
That's
Well,
true.
actually,
they use Maui's.
but there's a little Maui, and that's actually what I use to get rid of my opponent's location, because there's a new little Maui that's the Hawk Maui, and so he only costs 3 and attacks for 5. Is he lost? No, but he's reckless. So just like the other Maui, so he's reckless.
Except for no rush.
Right. He doesn't have rush, but he does have reckless, and he attacks for 5, and but he only has a defense of 2. But that's great for attacking locations because locations don't fight back.
Right.
You don't get any attack towards you. So it ended up, those cards ended up like working out really, really well for me. And I like my favorite move I had was there's a Peter Pan card that every time you move him to a location, you earn the amount of lore at that location. So I ended up winning one of my matches because I had two lore locations out, and I was moving Peter Pan between the two. And so I would start a turn with basically getting 6 lore without playing any cards.
Yeah, it was really fun playing with new cards, like not really knowing what your opponent was going to be playing. I was fortunate enough to actually win the event last night. I went 3-0.
Yep.
Jen still placed in the top 8. We
Yep.
both got a pack
I was
of the
7th, I think.
promo sleeves.
Yep.
And I got a bunch more packs that we opened up at home. I think our best pulls yesterday were the Enchanted Robin Hood, and Jen, you got the
not the Enchanted.
Oh, not the Enchanted.
Not the Enchanted.
Not the Enchanted. No. The legendary Robin Hood.
And I pulled the legendary Kira, the golden Kira.
Yeah.
I thought it was the opposite.
And that Robin Hood did a lot of work. I know I won. I got a ton of lore off of him because he gets 2 lore whenever he banishes someone.
You get lore when you
and then when he eventually died, I got to draw a card and replace him in my hand. That was great. I pulled off something I'll probably never play in League, where I had Trigger and Nutsy, the 2 vulture guards from
Robin Hood.
From Robin Hood, and they play off of each other. Like one gives the other one +1 lore when they're both in play, and so I was able to like double the amount of lore I was getting off them. I'll never play that in regular constructed one, but I played it last night a couple times. It was great to get off.
So kind of like
Flotsam and Jetsam.
Big Aladdin.
No, not quite. More like Pain and Panic.
Yeah, more like Pain and Panic.
What did they do?
Same thing.
They give each other, one gives the other one more stats when it enters play.
And I think
So that's how that is working. But we won't, even though the kids couldn't play last night, we are going to another draft tonight. They're coming along with us. Kids, are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, or are you excited? What are you hoping you get?
Hello, Piglet.
And Jafar.
And Bullet.
And more.
You know, I did pass up a Morph yesterday.
I did too.
It was hard. I wanted him, but I'm sorry, guys.
It's the tricky part of the draft, like that. Well, we're gonna go through. So today's episode is going to be made up of 2 other segments. We're going to go through card anatomy. So we want to try to take it back to, hey, how do you play Lorcana? Hi, Zelda. This is Zelda. How do you play Lorcana? What is Lorcana itself? So we're going to just break down a card. What are the parts of a card, of a character card specifically, and really take a look at that. That's going to be the first segment that we've got today. The second segment is going to go through a couple more cards from Into the Inklands. These are all going to be common and uncommon cards that should be your targets during a draft. This is based on kind of just looking at the cards and from our experience last night. So we'll have those as well. But let's dive into our main topic, which is card anatomy. So, boys, I want you to kind of help us walk through what's on a Lorcana card. So this is Mickey Mouse. He's the big Mickey. That's a legendary from set 1. Right at the top left corner, I've got, for those that are listening, you can take a look at any of your Lorcana cards. They've all got the same basic structure. And right at the top left corner, you've got a number there. Malcolm, what is that number?
That is the cost and if it is inkable. Basically, how much ink you have to pay to play it, and if you can turn it into ink.
Right. And what is ink used for?
It is used to play other cards.
And so if you can't see, basically, if it's inkable, it has almost like a wreath around it in gold. And if it's not inkable, it would just be like a solid circle or square or shape that's thick. So if you see that kind of wreath around the number, that's when you know it's inkable.
And now, Emmett, right in the middle of the card over on the left there's some big letters. They're big, bold, and white. What is that?
That is the class.
No, the big bold.
But
What's number 2? What's it say?
the class.
No, look on the left-hand side.
It says card name, but
That's what it is.
That's what it is. The
Mickey
big ones
Mouse.
on the left, buddy, not the ones in the middle.
left.
Okay, so the ones on the left is the card name. So this is a Mickey Mouse flavored hill. He's flavored up to do anything, even enter a meal or to a enchanter's workshop. And the new Mickey Epic Reblush.
Yeah, so it's a new video game coming out that
Oh,
we're excited
okay.
for. So yeah, that's the character's name, and you can have up to 4 of any card. You can have as many as the same characters you want. So that first name, Mickey Mouse, you can have as many of him as you want in your deck. But a Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Tailor, you can only have 4 of in your deck, and that's what the names kind of separate each other from. Also, when you deal with some of the cards that say, can you um, can you name the character that's on the top of the card, and if you name it right, you get it, like the Sorcerer's Hat can do that. All you have to do is say Mickey Mouse. You don't have to say Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Tailor. It's just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm, right under the name, little tiny symbol there. What is that?
That is the ink color. Basically saying what color is or not class. What type of card it is. Like
Like
it can
ruby,
be ruby,
emerald.
amethyst, emerald.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to give you the color of the card. I mean, the color's also there behind the name, but that will give you the symbol of the color as well, right on the card there.
Yeah.
And you can only have, how many of those can you have in a deck?
You only have 2 different colors.
Right. Okay.
So like I use a red and green deck.
Right.
At least for right now.
Right. And then Emmett, now, what is that one that's right in the middle there? The small letters.
It's the class.
The card class. So what is the card class on this one?
Okay, so first of all, it's not school.
Not a class in school.
No.
It's actually like a DID class.
Like a TNT class.
That's good. Yep, that's right. So this
one is a dream board and a hero.
Right.
So there are 3 different types of characters. There are storyboard, dream board, and blood board. This one's a dream board. We talked a little bit about blood board in our last episode.
And then there's also a hero. And there's also ones like kings and queens and princesses and princes and captains and pirates
and Tiggers.
Yes.
Tigger's the class.
We just discovered that.
Class.
Yeah, like Tigger.
Can't wait
Is
to
its
have
own
enough
class.
to build a Tigger deck.
Yes. And just and the grandma. There is no grammar class, but I wish so. Wait,
oh yeah, there should be a grammar class. I would like that.
Okay. So and then Malcolm, there's 2 numbers right over on the right side that are big, right in the middle of the card. What are those?
That is your strength and willpower.
What's strength?
Strength is used when you like to banish a card, and strength, you need to use to defeat the willpower, because your willpower is how much attack or strength you have to use to get rid of that willpower.
Right. So this one would hit people with 5 strength, and that can take out people with 5 willpower to 5 willpower, right?
Yeah. So can it take out Bowie?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
But Bowie can take out him.
But he'll take him out when he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if something like that happened where he was going up against another 5/5 card, they would just trade.
Right. And we'll get into combat in another episode. But we're just talking about what's on a card right now. And then Emmett, there's one more thing on this card I wanted to go over.
It's
on the bottom right. It's some weird symbols. What are those weird symbols?
Those are the war symbols. Those are the most important symbols. So if you get up, because when you exert them, you can do 2 things. So some cards, 3 things. So some cards are special to use to like Robin Hood can shoot arrows. So, but it doesn't have to flag. You can attack with the strength,
or you can
quest. And if you quest, and if you get up, and when you quest,
you get lore.
You get lore. You can use lore on anything that can go up to 20.
And so what happens when you get to 20 lore?
You win.
All right.
That's why
So
it's so important.
Before we move on, I just want to say at the very bottom it shows what type of card it is, like what rarity it is.
yeah,
So
so
there's
this one isn't a great example of that because this was like a special. This is a special
Promo
version
card.
of a promo card that was given away at
This is
D23.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
next card I have on here has a symbol on it for uncommon. Um, and it's like the number of sides the shape has tells you like the rarity. So the more sides in the shape, the more rare it is. So like a circle is common just because it's all one side. This is like a book, so there's two sides of it. Uncommon.
There's a
Triangle
triangle.
for rare. Um, a diamond for ultra rare, and then pentagon for legendary, a hexagon for
Yes.
so it is a quick way if you don't know the symbols, like just count like how many sides they have. This one they had to kind of weirdly fit in because how do you show something with two sides in a flat space? So this is Cloud Kicker. We're not really going to go too much into the card, but there was one other thing I wanted to cover inside of it. It's got that huge beige area inside of a card. We usually have a bunch of writing in it. This one has something that says sky surfing, and that's got something in italics. Malcolm, that part that says sky surfing, that's circled as number 1. What does that mean? What is all that?
That is the character's ability. Every character has different abilities, and it makes a card special. Every character, not every character, but like most.
Many of them do.
Right. So this one has the ability for sky surfing. When you play it, you may return a chosen opposing character with 2 strength or less of their player's hand. This is one. The reason I chose this card is this is one you want to search for when you are doing a draft. I used this one yesterday. Great success of really disrupting an opponent's turn. Basically, they lost their turn too because I played this and bounced their card back.
Yeah.
But then there's more words under that. Emmett, why are there so many words? Why are these words in italics? What are they?
It is the quotes and that was the question for like the game theory.
So like usually what are the quotes? Like who usually says the quotes?
Usually the character, or for some other characters, they say something different.
Well, usually it's either the character on the card, it's a quote they say in the movie, or it's a quote that somebody else says about them.
Or it's for the lore of Lorcana.
Right.
Yes, or it's for the lore of
So
Lorcana.
there's several cards. This is from Tailspin.
Tailspin.
So this is something
like DuckTales.
Yeah, from the ancient 90s. Thanks, man. So this is something that Kit would have said in Tailspin. Okay, that is woohoo, it's fun. A lot of the other cards are starting to have more and more about searching for lore, or this happened and we had to go into the Inklands, or Ursula's searching for lore and we got to help her find some more, stuff like that. So we're getting the story of Lorcana through some of this text on the cards, and that's something I want to go into in future upcoming episodes. Is the lore of Lorcana? There's some videos you guys haven't seen yet. They're really starting to kind of build out what this story is.
It's pretty cool because that's where like some of those the characters that don't look anything like they do in the movie because they're floodborn or because they're so it's the lore of why did Cinderella turn into a fighter, or a lot of these princesses are much different characters than they're portrayed in the movies if they were Bloodborne, for example. And that's pretty cool to learn about. It's a TV show.
A TV show that was
kind of like DuckTales, but it had the characters from Jungle Book. So like Baloo was the main character.
Imagine if Jungle Book went. Wait, Baloo was the main character?
Yeah. It was a great show. We will have to find it on Disney Plus so you guys can watch some episodes.
Baloo was in it?
Yeah.
It's related to DuckTales. Like Baloo was like the best friend with like one of the ducks. I forget which one.
No, we'll find some.
We'll find some and you can watch them, okay? And then you can tell us how they look. All right?
Okay.
Sound good? All right. So let's move on. We're gonna be going into some more in depth onto some of the basics of Lorcana week to week. Now that Into the Inklands is released and we don't have more cards coming out at a constant clip, we're gonna focus back on the basics of Lorcana so that maybe you can help your kids learn more about Lorcana and get them interested in playing as well.
Or maybe if your kid finds this podcast, they can get you interested in
playing. Who knows? We really think playing as a family is great Lorcana, so we really want to like help families play together.
Mhm.
But it is still Into the Inklands release weekend. I'm sure a lot of people are playing what's known as either a sealed event where you get 6 packs, you have to make a deck of 40, or a draft event where you get to pick cards from it. We did that last night. We've gone over that. Um, we wanted to go one more time on Into the Inklands, talk about drafting. What we're going to focus on, though, is common and uncommon targets for drafts.
Can I tell them what common and uncommon mean?
Sure, go right ahead.
So, you know how Malcolm told you about the symbols in the bottom of the card?
Mm-hmm.
So, the symbol. So that one wasn't a good example. The Mickey, I mean.
Right. So
Yep.
what's
So if we go back to, so these are
uncommon?
uncommon. If it's like a little book, they're uncommon.
So yeah. So if you've never collected anything, like most collectible things these days that are in some kind of blind pack or cards, they usually have a common. Common means that they are the most common. Like that's what you're going to be most likely to find. And then uncommon are second, and then so on and so forth. So that's kind of, like that common. In case you are a kid watching this and you don't know what the word common means, that's what the word common means.
Common
Right.
and the common symbol is like a circle, like a little gray circle.
Yep. So what we're going to do is look at some specific examples of what you should be looking for each drop for common and uncommon cards when you're drafting this weekend or anytime when you're drafting. So this is specifically for Into the Inklands. Um, so these are some one drops that you can look after. Now most one drops are pretty vanilla. You're going to find either they're going to have a strength of 2 and a willpower of 2, or strength of 1, willpower of 3. And that's usually what you're going to find. Maybe there's some locations as well that are available. But here's two characters that do a little bit more that are uncommons. You've got Chernabog's followers. Yep, Fantasia characters. Chernabog's followers. The 1 cost and inkable. It's got strength of 2, willpower of 1, and it has special ability of restless soul. So whenever this character quests, you may banish them to draw a card. It quests for 1. So the reason this card really works well in draft is because it replaces itself. Normally your 1 cost cards are only going to last 1 or 2 turns. So you can throw this down, then quest with it, get rid of it, or even attack it into something like this Pluto right next to it to get rid of something. And then it can replace itself when you're questing with it. So it's got a special ability that kind of helps you get through your deck faster so you see more of it. When you're drafting, you don't always get a lot of card draw, so anything that draws a card is good.
And the other thing too is that, something that I found, um, that I had a problem with last night in the draft was that I wasn't careful about making sure I had enough 1 and 2 drops, and that made the beginning of my game very tricky. So sometimes you're gonna want to, and that's, when we talk about our Genie acronym, right? It's the essentials. It is essential to have a solid amount of 1 and 2 drops so that you can get a good head start on the game.
Yep. You don't want to lose tempo and like being able to play something every turn. The second card on here is Pluto. He's uninkable, doesn't have any strength, so he's not going to be able to take anything out. Has willpower of 2, so he's going to go away really fast. But the special ability, you tap him and you pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. So he's like a lantern on a body. He also quests for 1. So if you play him on your first turn, your second turn you get to play a 3-cost card instead of a 2-cost card. So if you missed a 2-cost card in your mulligan and you don't have that in your hand, like this can make you skip the 3. And even the 3 cards, like that difference between a 2-cost and a 3-cost is like ginormous. So getting that 3-cost one out early is great.
Especially because there seem to be a lot of 3-cost cards in this release. At least I had an overabundance of 3 drops and 4 drops.
How much is that?
Let's not talk about off-topic stuff right now.
look at some 2-drops that are good to get. I had, I think I had both of these in my deck last night. The first one is Kita. She strength of 2, willpower 3, quest for 1. But the main thing is she's bodyguards. Bodyguards are great in draft because you're forcing your opponent to challenge into you to deal with the other stuff that's really a threat, right? So, what's the bodyguard ability?
The bodyguard ability, so basically like protection. So when you play it, you have to. Do you have to exert that one?
You
No,
don't
you can
have to.
choose to.
You can choose to exert them, but it's probably like the best if you do exert them because if you like have like a Lilo and a Pinocchio out and you watch them, you should probably exert them so they're protected.
Yeah, the only time you wouldn't exert it right away is if you have no other cards out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but if you have any other cards already out and you'd like to protect them, that's when you would exert it. You can exert it immediately when you play it, even when it's wet, to protect those other cards. And the other nice thing about Kita is that, um, you know, is that she's, she's a decent power or just decent willpower of 3, meaning that it will most likely take a 3 power or higher to get rid of her.
Yep. She's a steel version of Simba from the first set.
Yeah.
Simba was a great card to have. Every Amber deck played with her. Amber
did.
decks still play with her.
I did.
Play with him. So Kita is a steel version of that. Just what steel needed for anyone that doesn't play steel is another threat they have to deal with, so they can deal with them. The other card I have up here is Baboom. It's 2 cost, inkable. It deals 2 damage to chosen character or location. Being able to play this on your second turn and wipe out the opponent's first character is a great feeling. They just
especially when they haven't even bored them yet.
Yep, especially when and then they look at you with those cold eyes, like you just ruined their day. It is awesome. I had 3 of these in my deck last night.
Nice.
I just kept using them and disrupting their whole play. Let's look at some 3-cost ones. I did include Cloud Kicker here because he is just that good. He represents removal. There is very little removal in this set. Things that do damage, yes, but these 2 are pretty much some of the only removal stuff in the deck. So first, Cloud Kicker, strength of 2, willpower of 2 for a 3 cost. That's not great, but his ability to, when you play this character, you may return chosen opposing character with 2 strength or less if they're a player's hand. If you're playing this on turn 3, odds are the characters on board have 2 strength or less.
At least one.
Yep. So you're going to be able to return a character to their hand, basically saying that their last turn meant nothing. It is great. Grab this card.
Rise of the Titans.
Yes, the other one is an action. It's 3. It's inkable. It's Rise of the Titans. You banish chosen location or items. Now,
yeah, the location thing. It's like I said, it's like 2 of the locations I had were only a 4 cost, but they had 7 and 9 willpower. To just be able to eliminate a 9 willpower location with 1 3 cost card is huge. Like it took people 3 cards. Like they basically wasted their whole turn just to banish one of my locations because I kept getting 2 lore every time.
It can say it.
No, it's not a song. It's an
It's just
action.
an action. But I used this card in my last match last night. The guy was playing locations, trying to get that passive lore. I kept wiping them out with my characters. He finally threw down a Tiana's Palace, which had like a strength of 9, a willpower of 9,
Yep.
which was going to take me like 2 turns to get rid of.
Lore.
Then I drew this.
Lore.
No, it's not lore.
What about lore?
Yeah, I had 2 lore. That's what he's saying.
And then I drew this and was able to just get rid of it. So definitely a great card to grab because people are going to be playing locations. It's unsure, like in a constructed tournament where you built your deck, will locations be a thing? Don't know. In draft, you're going to see locations because there's going to be enough locations that people have to play them to get drawn to them. Let's look at 4-drops now. We've got Joshua Sweet the Doctor. He is a bodyguard. Strength is nothing at a 1. Willpower at 5 is super high. And he quests for 2. This is a great bodyguard to grab. Same reason you grab Kita, you grab Joshua Sweet because he is going to protect your characters. And at a 5 willpower, he's going to be tough to deal with.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
I just realized something. When I opened my packs this morning, I got both of these cards.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. I used him yesterday. He worked out great. The other one I used was Ramatala, Keeper of Ancient Stories. She's 4 and inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower. Not anything to really write home about, but when you draw her, you play this character, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, you may put one into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So she replaces herself when you draw her. Again, drawing is king in a draft because there's so little of it.
And if you're pulling her on turn 5, that's usually when you're starting, when you're playing her on turn 4, that's usually when you're starting to run out of cards. And you're looking for those high value cards. So the fact that you get to choose, um, you know, between those 2 cards, that's great. Like it allows you to draw a card, but you're also, you get to choose between the 2. So, um, if you pull one dud that you don't really want, or maybe an uninkable, you can choose the second one instead.
All right. We're going to go next over to 5. And this is going to be our last set that we're going to look at because really in draft, I have found that once I'm playing the 5 cost cards, that's almost where I stop. I'm no longer inking because I can't afford to ink because I'm running out of cards. Because again, there isn't a lot of card draw. So 5 is almost the limit. You can get those other cards that are costing more. Obviously, if you see a legendary man, grab that right away.
Yes.
But
usually in drafts, like you have 48 cards and you only have to play 40. So if you get a really high cost legendary and it's not as shiftable, just put it to the side and keep it for your deck. Now I had Nikita and she was shiftable, so I kept her in my deck because I had other Kitas I can shift her onto.
But these 2 did wonders again yesterday.
Yeah, I had that Don Carnage shoe. It was a great card.
The 5 cost Don Carnage, also from Tailspin, Prince of Pirates. He is a 4 strength, 4 willpower. He is evasive. He quests for 2. Now, in regular constructed, he's just a little bit stronger of a Ray than Ray is from Rise of the Bloodborne, but he does he quests for 1 less. But he's going to be able to take out almost any evasive, I think any evasive in this set and still survive. Except for I think there's 1 Lost Boy that would take him out. But he can take them all out. Plus he quests for 2. The evasive so it's difficult to deal with. The common to grab him up. The other one is another bodyguard. It's Nanny, protective sister from what movie, guys?
Lilo and Stitch.
Strength of 3, willpower 6, quest for 2. So while I went 3-0 in total rounds, I lost 1 match. And the reason I lost is because they played this card. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't have enough on the board to get rid of it in time to actually make a recovery. But so this is a great card to press.
So Maui can take her out.
Maui can take her out.
One, but he's not in.
He's not in.
Well, he's not in
Inkland.
He's not in Rise of the Inklands, so you can't play him in the draft.
No.
There's a card that would take. There are a couple cards that take her out in 1 hit that you might get. Like Billy Bones. He's a strength of 5, willpower 5, strength of 6, willpower 5. So he could take her out. And then I think the Firebird could take her out as well.
Firebird is a 6.
He would go down though to it. So
yes, but that's an easy trade because it's only a 1 luring card. Yeah. Like I played a few of those last night to get rid of some of the big ones like this.
So it's not impossible to get rid of her, but she's there.
Yeah.
So those are the cards based on our experience last night, based on looking through the cards, the ones that you should grab if you see them. Again, my advice is always grab them legendaries.
Legendaries first, and of course, if you see those big cards, if you see those what are they called?
The Enchanted.
The Enchanted. If you see an Enchanted, yes, you absolutely grab that. You grab the legendaries. Even what's the next one down from legendary? The super rare.
You can grab some of them. I think there was one I did pass on. There was the guy next to me was drafting. He was trying to decide between 2 cards. I think one was Don Carnage, and the other was the super rare Magic for Dispel.
Ooh, the one that I got.
Yeah, she costs 7. She's uninkable.
Yeah.
The special ability is you get lore, the same amount of lore as an item cost that's on your field.
But with,
that is useless.
yeah,
in the draft.
you're like never gonna
I
get
was
7 ink.
like, he was like, should I take it because it's a super rare? I'm like, I mean, you could take it because it's gonna be harder to get, but I'm telling you right now, you might as well just set it aside right now. You're not using it. Don't use it in this draft. It will be just sit in your hand and take up space.
Yeah.
So
Especially since it's uninkable.
it depends on where you are in the draft, right? So yeah, just make some of your own decisions. I understand, like we're all collecting, we all want to get those cards, but at the end of the day, it becomes up to you. And that's everything we talked about with draft. We're excited. We're going to be drafting tonight, all 4 of us. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long night though, so be
Yes.
prepared for that. If you want, you guys can use our new puppy sleeves, the promo sleeves we got from winning yesterday. They're not great sleeves.
They're good for a draft.
Sure. Yeah.
Not they don't hold up, unfortunately.
No.
Is it trivia time?
Hold on.
Well, now is the time. First, do you guys have any questions you want to ask us about any of the games maybe that you missed this weekend or anything like that?
Not really. Not really.
Okay, great. I don't have any questions in the email bucket.
Oh, we forgot to talk about playing the trivia.
Oh, that is one thing. So every week I grab one of these questions from this trivia box back here. It is the Disney Family Trivia.
The Magical World of Disney Trivia.
Yes.
Beautiful packaging. Like,
And so last weekend, because we were playing with these cards, the kids wanted to play it. Actually play the game and see what it's like. So we actually went through and we played it, and
Mom won.
nope,
no, Malcolm won.
No, Mom.
Dad won.
Dad won. No, I didn't. I won second. Remember?
Yes, I was
Dad won.
behind.
It was
and
close
I
though.
got it.
And so it actually turns out it's very similar. Like it's very similar game mechanic to the Trivial Pursuit that any of you that are our age, I'm sure you played a ton in the 80s and 90s. If you had,
They're barely making it anymore.
No, they're not. But like it was really big back then, especially if you had trivia loving parents or dad like I did.
Yeah, for sure.
We played it all the time, and so it kind of works like that. But instead of pie pieces, it has just like these little like wedges that kind of go into your markers. But the trivia questions are kind of like that, but they don't really have categories. It just seems to be random.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to any of these categories. There is a little bit too much sometimes about like High School Musical sequels and random other like car sequels. So be prepared to deal with that. But then every once in a while you get thrown a bone like who plays Maui, stuff like that. So it really and the kids were doing very great. They were keeping up with us. It's just you can't compete with big brain over here.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
I was way ahead, and then I just could not land on one of the color spaces to get that one last color, and so Matt ended up pulling ahead.
Yeah, I think I went on just a streak there at the end of getting. I think I got a bunch of easy questions too, so that's what happened.
Yes.
For those of you with younger children, it's actually a whole set of cards for kids.
It's got pictures
with pictures and stuff on them. We're tempted to open it because the front package, the picture that we can see, has Amber
from
Sophia the First, the greatest cartoon ever made. I will stand by it. It is the Taylor Swift of Disney cartoons. That is my stance. That's what I'm saying here right now. You cannot fight me on that.
It is. Yes, it is.
Bluey's the Taylor Swift. No.
Bluey doesn't have songs.
Bluey is like Post Malone. Okay.
What do you mean this is the song?
All right. No. Shh. All right.
All right. So let's get into the trivia questions again from this big, beautiful box. Starting with that banger in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Karina Smythe was jailed because she was believed to be a what?
Witch.
That is correct. I was going a different way. What song did Miguel sing to Mama Coco in the film?
Remember me.
Coco. That is
I'm
correct.
actually learning the ukulele in school, how to play it.
Oh, so
all right.
cool, that song?
This one's for Jen, most likely. What is the name of the Muppet Show band?
Oh,
I'm Buffett Locks.
No, it's holy crap. What is it? I can't remember.
They made a TV show out.
No, yeah.
Buffett Locks?
No.
It's not.
It's got a guy's name in it.
I know, and I can picture him. It's not gonna come to me.
It is Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. All right. Because it's a Disney card that I pulled for this trivia. How many films are in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
Five.
That is correct. In the film Finding Nemo, Sheldon is a seahorse classmate of Nemo's who is intolerant to what? So what is Sheldon intolerant to?
Water.
No, wait.
Correct.
she's water intolerant.
It says H2O, but I would say
Oh,
water.
that's right. It's H2O
Yeah.
intolerant. I
H2O.
forgot. That's how it. Yeah.
All right. So that's our episode. We got a little bit shorter this week because we do have to eat dinner. We do have to get to that draft because we gotta get them cards going.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening or watching. You can find us as QuestLore on any podcast service. If you have any questions, please send them to questlorequestions@gmail.com. There's a link in the description to email us. You can also find a video version of this podcast on YouTube at QuestLore. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment. However you interact with your media, please feel free to do it. We have been your family guides through Lorcana this week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.
And Oswald, the lucky rabbit for Lorcana.
Good luck getting those cards.